Hello everyone, and this is Ruslan Akhmedzyanov, and I am extremely excited to meet you all here at Testing at AdTech virtual meetup. And today with Mikhail Sidelnikov. Hey Misha.
Hi guys.
Head of QA at AdTech Holding, we will try to figure out how to gain transparency and control over testing when you have dozens of various projects. So, to start with all this conversation, Michael, tell us more about your company and the team.
Thank you, Ruslan. I think before answering on this question, let's start with some history. We started. I started working in AdTech at about 6.5 years ago, I think. And in those days, there was no QA at all in company. So we started building all from scratch. So and all. I mean, not only key artifacts, which is more important, we start building QA culture. So because what is the life of the company without QA culture? I think.
Right.
For example, there were situations like when some developer says, "I finished my task. I know it works fine, and I just have deployed to production." And 10 minutes later, managers, "Oh God, we lost many money." It sounds like joke, but it was a reality for us. And so we started this key culture, key processes in AdTech at that time. Me and my friend Vasya, he was QA head at that time. We found, I think, very good and strong and qualified team, and start building these processes from the scratch. What about AdTech at all? What is it? What is the company about? This is a big advertisement network, and we have clients all over the world, over the world. Sorry.
I know.
Our main goal is to connect advertisers, people who wants to show their advertisement somewhere, and publishers who have their sites and they want to show advertisements on these sites to make money. So, and our goal is to show these advertisements based on your interests, on interest of our clients, my interest, your, and on someone else. And we need to do this very fast because no one wants to wait for a day to open. And because of this, there are very strong requirements for quality for our products and our projects, almost for our advertisement rotation engine.
Yeah, so basically your folks are behind the technology which tries to sell something to me as soon as I have took a slight look on marketplace, right? I
Yes.
don't really like this stuff, but I believe that some kind of cool technology stays behind that one.
Yes,
So to
of
build
course.
such an engine, how many engineers do you have? And not just build, because you know, like developers are developers, but to make it working like Swiss watch.
So for now, I want to tell that we have several offices in several countries. Our main offices is in Cyprus and Serbia, and how many engineers? It's, I think, really hard to uh, uh, find an answer to this question because we have not only product team of developers, QA, and operations. So we have a big commercial uh, department. We have legal. We have finance, and so many teams. Because our product is really big and hard to maintain. So, but I think in all our offices, I think it's about 300 of people at all, but I
Okay.
can make a mistake now. Uh, as
Well, it
for
doesn't matter,
QA
like
team, yeah,
250 or 350, who cares
yes,
if it's not
yeah,
engineers, of course.
yes, yes, yeah. And as for QA team, now we have 17 engineers, and we have no isolated QA team as it in many companies. Or our QA engineers works in agile product teams, which develop their own functionality of our big advertisement network. But in all teams, of course, we have the same solutions, use the same languages, frameworks, tools, our Allure, and so on.
Yeah. Okay. So I get it. So you mean you are actually quite modern, meaning by the like state of the team, because having a separated QA team starts to become a little bit obsolete because we don't want to separate people who write code and then from people who actually try to
Yes, of
like
course.
understand if it works correctly. Okay, so um, how many tests do these 17 people actually maintain, and do you run them frequently or like once a week?
Mm, to answer on this question, I would start uh, to answer on the another question. We have
Okay.
a microservices architecture. So the main languages we used it's Golang and PHP, React for web, and to we have many databases, and SQL, NoSQL, and to test all these projects, we need many tests, of course. Uh, about count of tests, I checked our statistics several days ago. We have such full statistics based on Allure data. I will tell you more about it. Uh, and as I can see, there are about 9,000s of tests. So it's really great,
Okay.
I think, count. And
Quite a lot.
about running, yes, yeah, quite. We run many tests every day because we have fast and cool CI/CD process. We don't wait for a big release as it in many companies. We work in our another paradigm. We when we finish development of some task, we can verify this task by auto tests, maybe uh, perform some manual checks, and after this we deploy it to production. And after we monitor it with by developers, QA, and managers team, and so because of this fast process, we can have up to 40 or 50 releases in our parts of system every day.
Yeah, okay, so I start to understand why you are actually here with Allure TestOps, because that's a common, like, the next question is going to be about the original challenge, and I guess I'm starting to understand how it happened, because when you want to get high pace with an like advanced DevOps pipeline built for speed and for automation, on some like on some point you start looking for a solution when you want everything to run at least semi-automatically. But could you please tell me a little bit more about the challenge, the initial challenge, and how you started? Like, first of all, what kind of tools you've been using before Allure Stops, and then how you decided to change and how it went.
Okay, Ruslan, yes. Let's start again with some history. Um, when we started building our KA team, we understood that we need to store our cases to make a clear and transparent process of understanding of quality and coverage. I'm not talking about coverage not as the count of tests or about the percent of covered lines. I mean quality coverage. That which means that what functionality functional parts of our product we cover and what we do not cover. It's near to the coverage about the line of codes, but I think it's not the same. And to add this ability to show and calculate this quality, firstly we started searching test management system. So in that time, this is about 6 years ago.
Oh god,
We all, of
that's
course,
a lot of time.
yes, yes. We all of course, have rich experience with many test management systems. But the most experience we have in test trail. And at that time, I think it was really the best test management system in that time. Um, but it, of course, had big problems like custom auto test results upload with API. But it was the better than the other. It was like to select better from the worst. So we developed
Well,
whole infrastructure. Yeah,
just to interrupt, I believe that like when you speak the better from the worst, I would say that it works in terms of building huge automation pipeline into testing. So, because I believe that Test Trail is an amazing tool, uh,
yeah,
but it has its own restrictions in terms of working with automation. Like as you said, API driven working with automation tools. Just to say that we actually love this trail, not just yeah.
yes. It's not. It's a really good tool. I will tell you in future about that. It did it work.
Yeah.
We store here artifacts and Mm, but if we want to return to our history with this trail,
Yes.
so at the time we developed really big infrastructure of uploading results, of customized test trail UI. I think it's the best feature in test trail, and I'm waiting for Allure TestOps to implement such feature because with
Okay.
customizing UI by uh, JavaScript, and you can really add your internal features to your test management system. So we
Well, sounds
customize
great. Yeah.
UI, yeah, yeah. We customize UI to make an ability to run our SimCity builds, uh, our the tests from the test management system. Um, and we live in this paradigm until I think 2018, 2019, until Tёма Yaroshenko on one of our preparations of our meetups told us about Allure server. Now it's Allure TestOps. And we used Allure framework as a reporting system. And so it was interesting to tell or to test a new tool of Artyom team. And it was really that time when we needed, we really tired of using test trail at that time. We understand that the count of our projects grows with the great speed, and for every project we need to solve many problems like how integrate this new project into test trail. We need to create first manually create test case, then get it ID, put it in the code. Then we need to upload results via API. Then we need to update test steps manually because the trail cannot update it like Allure. So these problems were a real headache for us, and we understand that we cannot build really good QA process and QA team with such a tool. It is, as you told me before, it is really good tool, but when you have many manual cases and when your priority is automation, I think test trial it's not for you. So as a result, we have test artifacts in our system and our test trial. But working with these artifacts, it was really hard and for us.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, thank you. So you actually just touched a little bit the story of how you came up with Allure Stops. And by the way, I each time I do love meeting people at our meetups who say Allure server, because at that point you understand that the person actually has huge experience with Allure Enterprise Edition server and now desktops. So, what were the requirements, and did you consider any alternatives when you've decided to switch from Test Trail?
I think to yes to answer on this question, let's try to find answer for this question. And as I told earlier, we are tired about using and maintaining all these bicycles with the test trails. So why not to try? Why? And so we started. And as I meant earlier, because of the count of the projects grows with the big speed and the integration of tests, the trail was really painful. I will really save us here. Tom showed us the stops, and there were no question for us to use it or not. It's, of course, yes. And the coolest things in Allure for us was, and now it is that if you have an internal Allure report, you have the results in the stops. You don't need to uh, upload them via API. They upload it automatically when you run your tests in your CI/CD. And you do not need any logic to upload something, some um, test cases metadata, some steps, and so on. You don't need other custom integration. You don't need additional servers to run builds from your test management system. And as for requirements for test management system, I think that first it was the easiest integration in Autotest because we have many Autotests in our company and not to any these many custom code for simple operations like adding ID or description for test. Uh, so of course we need automatic upload of results, as I mentioned earlier, without any additional code. We need easy integrations with our infrastructure, with our TeamCity, Jira, and so on. Of course, we need good and rich reporting, history dashboards, where we can see the trends of quality of our project. And of course, we want good customization, like trees, tags, labels. We want to add this metadata to our code and use it, just simply use it in our test management system to customize our reports. And so all these features Alux gave, gave to us. Um, as about alternatives, I think there were no, and now there is no alternatives to Allure TestOps. I think now TestOps is really the one of the best test management system, and of course it has its problems. It's not an ideal, but I think it's the best really. And as I can see, it becomes better and better because of cool create Cometa teamwork. And now it can solve really, I think, all the problems that are needed to solve in development team. And if you have many automatic tests, as it is in our company, I think that it's the best solution for you. And of course, the second reason to use Allure in our company is because I know many guys from Cometa who work together and made several meetups and projects together. So why not? Why not to use it?
Yeah, so sounds great, and thank you for warm words about Allure Stops and calling us not perfect but the best. That's actually that's great because being perfect is means you will be staying on the same place forever, and that's not something we are like trying to be. And the second thing I believe that you didn't mention is, as far as your engineering team was not as huge as in some enterprises, you had this ability to say why not. And that's, I believe, great. And when you are on the very beginning of the testing life cycle, or on the like when your team is still small, choose wisely, because when it starts to grow and scale, you won't be able to switch tools as easy as we've just heard about that from Michael, because you know large projects don't move fast, unfortunately, no matter how great your pipeline is. But like migrating from one tool to another is a huge effort. And of course, that's why we are also good if you have a little report, and I believe you have one. Half of the job is done already. But I believe that you just didn't tell us a little bit more about any pitfalls during the implementation, because like it sounded like an easy walk. I don't believe that story, because everyone actually has their skeletons in the closet. So tell us about that one.
Of course, Ruslan, yes, of course. When you're implementing such big system on big company, it will have problems. So as I remember, there was first we have some issues with environment configuration. We used Allure as it server um, version. So, but I think it's not a big problem because when you're trying to integrate such big tool with great count of existing auto tests, configuration of servers it's not a big deal. And of course, here was a really good help from team. Artyom helps us to many times, and together we really built a good solution for our company. And also, there were some problems, as I remember, with TeamCity integration. Sometimes we lost our results of tests. It was really painful for
Oh, that's
us. I think
frustrating.
that yes, but there was also a big, great help from the community developer teams. So together we investigated problems with Artyom. We are looking at plugin, SimCity plugin code, and finally we solved these problems because it was some issues on our side when we delete our attachments to save some spaces on our servers, and of course some problems with the plugin. So together we find a solution. It was really cool. And of course, let's repeat that when you're trying to implement big tool, there are also problems in some places. But with Allure, it was simply really simple to fix them.
Yeah, thank you. And I believe that actually fixing an issue when it has roots in both sides of the tool itself and then or the process in a team who suffers, it really needs some kind of special experience from the engineers who are trying to solve that one, and then you need some kind of real world attention from the vendor. And that's really, I'm really happy to hear that our engineers are open to come to our clients and help them with their own hands, and they are not sitting in an ivory tower and just come to people investigating and then fix the problems, and nobody again will see this issue again. So that sounded like some kind of bunch of smaller issues. And you've already said that most of the tasks you've been aiming for actually were solved, but were there any aha moments while adopting Allure TestOps, like, oh god, that works like that? That's just so good.
About Hammond, mm, I don't remember. I think such moments. Uh, it's, I think Allure helps us to achieve our main goal and
Yeah.
to improve our transparency of our QA process by collecting our test artifacts and building dashboards about test data so we can understand where we are really cool in quality and where we have maybe some problem, what tests are stable, what tests are flaky. This is a big problem for automation at all. And so uh, in other systems, it is really hard to understand. For example, with test trail, some other test management systems. So always good for from in this Allure for our company at all. But I think not only using a tool as it is the final solution. because it's good to become better and better, and we are trying to do more and more to increase our transparency of our key processes. So, and for this, we have several moments. Um, First, we are trying to improve our auto test to make them data of this test more clear to every people from our company. So, I want to share now you some slides. So, we are trying to improve our auto tests and to make that told earlier, we need to make our test data more clear for every people from our company. So we started using several easy rules to make our life more easily, and now we're trying to implement it to all our projects. So what we do, we carefully follow the rule. First, we carefully follow the rule that in our cases, we need only easy to understand steps. Every action must be logged.
Okay.
Every request response must be attached. You cannot see it here because in this case I have some maybe internal data. But we need it because of the common reason. Every person who can see this data must understand what we do. For me, in auto tests, code is only the for about 50% of success. Other part, it's about a good environment and easy to maintain and understand. And also, what is very, very important, it's about a clear and understandable record. For this, we always used many loggers in our frameworks like retrofit or rest assured to make this data clear. Also in tests, we are trying to make fully and clear description. Of course, there is a test description because of internal data here, and but that helps us to find an answer on the next questions. What is this case about, and why we created? Because some parts of our system is really hard, we need this cool description to uh, helps us in future to understand what
Okay.
was the problem, of course. And
That
to
makes
solve these
sense. Yeah.
problems, yes, of course. To solve this problem, we used many solutions. We implement in our code reading and save description from Java docs. And also we use the cool power of Markdown of the stops, and we can make really cool and beauty descriptions here. And so if you want to make your test data better, there are always many ways to do it. And so we use many cool features. Of course, we used many features of Allure, like text, custom fields, feature to increase the quality of our records. And of course, over the time, we find more and more that we can, uh, how we can make our process more transparent, more clear, our cases more understandable. And Allure team gives us these instruments to solve our problems in the easiest way. I think it is really easy to customize here data, to customize the vision of your data in Allure. And also for TestOps, we understand that TestOps gives us not only cool and easy to understand UI, as you can see on the screen, but also gives us main artifact, test data for our project. And with the power of Allure TestOps API, we can do more than just collect data in cool UI. So sometimes ago, I think it's about 3 years ago, me and Vasya, I told you about this guy. We built a QA culture and AdTech together.
Yeah.
Asked ourselves, so how can understand and measure quality of company at all? In Allure, we can see projects, of course, launches, tests. That's cool, but it's only for projects. And how we can see the whole picture. So in that time, uh, we want to understand what we want. We need to understand what we want to see. So we, of course, want to have uh, data about all projects and cases in one dashboard, because in Allure it's many dashboards for several projects. So we want to have an ability to see how many cases were added or deleted by the specific range of time. By this value, we can try to understand in what parts of our system, of our QA system, we maybe have a downgrade or upgrade of our quality processes. And of course, we want to see last results of the project, to see the current state. We want to, and also we want to have data about our code in this maybe dashboard or tool. We want to have links to GitHub and data about our pull requests. So I think here is the moment when I need to tell you some more about our CI/CD process, because it's in that time we need some information about it. And I'll tell you in few words on the slide. Um, all our process started with the developer's branch. Developer finished here his task and creates pull request. By trigger, we automatically start our tests in TeamCity, automatically starts our environment in Docker, and when test is finished, we uh, upload results to Allure TestOps by TeamCity plugin. We notify all interested person by our internal Slack notifications, and also we upload results to GitHub. And so this final step, as you can see here in GitHub, uh, you can see these results of build configuration with GitHub checks. It calls checks in GitHub language. So for our statistics, we want to have also this info, because we want to know, for example, how often tests in some pull requests failed, for example. It can show us that our test works and can find some problems in code. Of course, there can be many variations and many questions, but the main function of our idea works fine. And of course, we want to filter all this data that we have by projects, teams, and time. And for this, to solve this problem, we build some our internal system based on GitHub, or based on GitHub and Allure TestOps data. We call it QA statistics, and we will show you several screens. So first, we have so you can see here on the screen, we have filters by teams and by date. So what we need, we have also a total summary of tests, our test artifacts for these teams and these dates. We can see here total projects and system for these teams, and new tested for selected periods, and that we can see the count of test grows for this period. And of course, we can see here separated data for teams and for projects. And when we click this arrow, we can see separated data about projects, about total power pull requests, about count of pull requests, about pull requests for selected periods, about total tests, new tests for period, and about the last results. So why we need this? Now we, with these statistics, we have one more place which helps us to make our processes, QA process, more transparent for me as QA head and for our team. And it helps us to understand where we can be better and where we can also I want to also say big thanks to Allure and to Ameda team because it solves for us a big problem. It gives us data for our system about the quality.
Yeah,
Uh,
wow, I that was extremely like huge answer. Thank you. And I'm really impressed by the things you've actually shown to us. And there is one question which actually relates to the things you've told us now. And let me ask it. So Igor asks, how do you detect flaky tests? Or do you work with flaky tests? Like maybe you've got your own tool or a set of rules?
uh, for Flaky test, we used we do not need uh, to build our system because Allure TestOps it has dashboards about success rate, and we use it in our project to see the where we have flaky test or no. It's really
Okay,
cool.
so
Mm.
you're just looking at the dashboard and then you manually
Yes,
investigate
yes, yes,
some
yes.
specific flaky cases. Okay,
QA
that's
QA
great.
in
So
team can yes,
yeah,
QA in team can investigate this problem with his tests.
and the next question is: do you consider any stuff below 100% of like passing tests as suspect to flaky or as suspects?
Mm, in some cases, that's failed, yes, because of luck. We have on our cabinets, we have many UI tests. So, as you know, UI tests are not so, uh,
Stable,
they are
yeah.
flaky. Yes, they are stable. And of course, in that part, not only 100% success we have, but in mm, sometimes we have some problems with environment, of course. But in most projects, in our core, we have this 100% success rate, and we are trying to increase the quality because we are trying to uh, answer the question based on the test results. Answering the question, can we deploy this task to production based on test results? Because of this,
Yeah,
we need, okay, of course.
yeah, that's actually what I wanted to say because quality is not about 100% success rate. It's
Yeah.
about the answer to the question if we can deploy this one and still be good. And so to keep our clients happy and our stakeholders with all their money, because that's our job. And yeah, so this is where maybe still semi-automatic approach is good enough to have. And the last question, you just said that building this one, your statistics QA tool, let you build a like single source of truth for quality. And I believe that it's great, but don't you want to build something else that would monitor it from the side? Because for me, sometimes it sounds like putting all the eggs into one basket. Because you don't you have to like just check if everything is really as Allure TestOps shows, and then you get this whole data and you work with it, and then you make serious decisions based on that one. Didn't you think about building like some kind of parallel monitoring or observability tools?
Yes, I think it's not about putting eggs all eggs into one basket. It's more about that I told earlier that it's about adding one more place when we
Okay.
can see the data about QA, about state of QA. And of course, we understand that because we have many projects, I think now it's about 60, 65 projects in our
Okay.
Allure. We must monitor that work with quality in the project goes in the right way, and we have no problems here. And to make this reaction on possible QA problems more faster, We add monitorings, of course, for our systems based on Allure TestOps data. So the main goal here uh, was that we wanted to monitor if something went wrong with our QA artifacts. For example, if we have no launches for the project for some period, maybe something broken in our integration from SimCity or something like that. And for example, if there are no new tests for some time period, maybe what is now with the project? Is it actual at all, or maybe also we have some integration problems? And if we have such projects, of course, we have quickly alert to Slack, and we can react on it. And of course, it's configurable because as we can exclude some projects because some of them become obsolete. Of course, it's life, and we understand it, of course. But all engineers in our QA team understand that Allure gives us big and cool profit, and they must have their actual information about test data.
Yeah, so now I get it. Sorry for maybe my question sounded dumb, but I still think that I had to ask it because, like it's better to ask a question than not to. And this
Yeah,
is why I ask people and everyone to ask their questions because we are all done, I believe. Thank you, Michael. Thanks a lot because the
thank you,
story
Ruslan.
was, yes, the story was amazing and you've even prepared the slides and I love the slides. They looked cool. And let me give you like 30 seconds to ask a question if you want to in the chat. And if you don't, we'll just say goodbye to you and thank you a lot because I love the session and I hope you did too.